Good evening, y'all. It's not morning time. It's night. I usually don't get on here at night, but I have something special I want to show you. So I guess I'll just sit here until some people start coming on here. No use talking when they're not. Good evening, Charlotte. Where are you from, Charlotte? Oh, I see some little hearts going up. All right, here's Margaret Smith. Good morning. Evening. I'm so used to saying good morning, but it's evening. As a matter of fact, it's close to my bedtime right now. It's 5:40, and that's late. And here's Castra, and Nancy, and Renee Bass. Hello to you, Renee, and to Janice Smith Earl. Good evening. Good evening to you. I've got something so fun to show y'all tonight. I can't wait to show you. I'm going to let a few more get on here, though, so you can see it. Because it's probably been a long time since some of y'all have seen what I'm fixing to show you, okay? And while I'm waiting, look at this. I had this on this morning, and I did a video on Cooking with Brenda Gantt. That's what I do. That's my show, Cooking with Brenda Gantt. And this morning, I put a video on. And then today at lunch, I put this thing back on because I was didn't want to get my shirt dirty. And I realized when I was trying to get it on, I was looking at the back side of it. And this thing has lights in it. Look at that. The Christmas tree is lit up. It's got a wire back in the back that you turn on. I'm shocked. All right, so here's what I want to show y'all tonight. I was born in 1946, okay? So this catalog right here, let me push you back where you can see it a little bit. This catalog right here is a Sears Christmas book, and it is dated 1956 right there. You looking at it backwards. This was given to me by Mark. His name is Mark Richardson, and he's from Russellville, Alabama. And he had this in his possession. And his aunt, Patsy Loftus, is also from Russellville, and I guess she found out he was sending one, so she gave him another one. It's a different year to send to me. Now, I want to show y'all something. You know, there's a lady in our town that teaches at the elementary school. So she just had this wild hair to ask her students, which are, I think they're 5th grade, I want to think, what they wanted for Christmas. And y'all, it is nothing like what I asked for Christmas when I was little. And Christmas time is here, and I want you to just look at this book. All right, this one came out in 1956. I was born in 1946. I'm 78 years old. And so I was about 10 years old when this was going out. And I want to show you some inside parts of it. One thing that's in it are ice skates. Now, that must be for the people that live in the north, because you know that Santa Claus didn't bring anybody any ice skates down here in South Alabama. Well, at that time, I was living in Middle Alabama. I want to just show you some of the stuff in here that's in here. I get so tickled at looking at it. I really do. I actually cannot believe it. All right, look at this on this page. You've got TV trays. Can y'all see that? TV trays. Remember, and one of them has a wheel on it. Look at that. Has a wheel on it. And the back of the book is featuring a train. My brother's got a train for Christmas, and it had tracks. And honey, I got down on the floor, and I played with that train just like they did. I loved it. You could put the tracks together. You could make a big giant circle, or you could make a figure 8. It had a cross section in it. But anyway, and here's this blue willow right here that you can get. Now, that is a collectible today. A lot of people are looking for that blue willow. All right, and so let me just show you something else. Oh, and this is cute. This is little chicken salt and pepper shakers. But our Sears and Roebuck catalog came in the mail every year. Do you remember that? Do y'all remember that? And we got 2 a year. One of them was real thick, and it was everything that store sold. You know, like boots and clothes and sheets and all that kind of stuff. And we got it every year. But this one came right before Christmas. And as a kid, I actually waited for this thing to come. I was so excited. And I'd stick my nose right in like this and smell it. Have you ever, I mean, when a baby is born, I guess y'all know this, their sense of smell is the strongest sense that they have. Their eyesight's not real good when they're first born. But they know their mama. They know their mother's smell. And I am telling you, I love to smell crayons. I can remember the smell of crayons and new books, because I remember just sticking my face in those books and smelling them. They smelled so good to me. What were y'all's favorite smells? What about you, Joyce? Joyce Raines and Sylvia, what did y'all like to smell when you were little? Did you like to smell new crayons? A box of new crayons? I loved it. It was wonderful. But anyway, I want to share this with you, and I'm going to show you some more stuff that's in it, because I'm just fat. And thank you, Patsy. All right, look at this. Now, that brings back memories. These are radios. Look at that. Boy, we've come a long way, haven't we? We've come a long way. I don't even know if anybody has a radio right now. Do any of y'all still have one? We can work that, can't we? All right, and here, the little boys, they would ask for guitars. Now, that's still popular today, a guitar. But look at this record player. Y'all see that record player? I had one, a little record player that Santa Claus brought me. It was blue, and it played 45 records, the little 40 little ones. And I had got several records with it. A lot of Elvis Presley records came with it. And Fats Domino came with it. And let's see, who else was back then? I'm trying to think of all the ones that I got. All those records, I got them. Oh, and they were so good. But let me show you something else. All right, here's the refrigerator. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that something? Isn't it something? I'm going to find the colored pictures. This book right here, here's your little bicycles and stuff like that. But look at this. Now, another thing that's come a long way, baby, is luggage. You don't ever see any luggage like this anymore. Look at that. Look at that. I've got a friend. Y'all know that one right there. This one right here. That was called a train case. Now, my girlfriend, Carol, y'all aren't going to believe this. She has an old-timey train case. One of those, they were about this big and about that tall, and it lifts up. And that was to carry your toiletry items in and stuff like that. It had a little tray in the top of it. Well, Carol keeps her makeup and her cream and her brush and all her bathroom stuff, lotions and little medicine and whatever, in that train case all the time. She just sets it up right there on her counter in her bathroom. And when we get ready to go on a trip, all she does is closes her train case and picks it up and goes to the car. That's it. She doesn't have to pack makeup. She doesn't have to pack toothpaste or anything else, because she leaves it right there in that suitcase. Now, I had some Samsonite luggage one time, and mine, I got it for Christmas. Santa Claus brought it to me, and it looked kind of like that one. It's kind of cream colored. I don't know whatever happened to it. But the thing that I like about the train cases and stuff and those kind of suitcases of today is they have wheels on them. Can't you remember lugging around that thing? Y'all even know what that is? That's a typewriter. I got one of those for Christmas one time. I got that typewriter for the thing keeps going off. Mine was pink. And I'd get back there and type. Then I'd sling that carriage over to the side and type some more. And if you messed up, you had to take this. Oh, it was a job if you messed up on your typing. You had this little tape stuff that you had to put on it and try to fix it. All right, let's see what else we got. We got pens, and here's Bibles right here that you could order a Bible for Christmas. I got a Bible one time for Christmas. I needed a new one, and Santa Claus brought me one. Look at this. Look at these toys. Look at that. Y'all see anything you got for Christmas on there? What did y'all ask for Christmas? I asked for a bicycle one year. I got it. But most of the time, what I got was surprise. We didn't make a list. When I was a little girl, we didn't make a list of what we wanted. I think that Santa Claus just brought us what he wanted us to have. One year when I was in high school, I got a beautiful little watch. It was a little white gold watch, had a little teardrop face on it. I've still got that watch today. I loved it. But what did y'all ask for Christmas? Here's somebody from Kentucky, Melissa Hardwick from Kentucky, and Madeline Lewis. And here's Renee Dowling. Yes, my mom she still does her train case. Hey, it's really a good idea, isn't it? I thought about making that tonight, but somebody's talking about sweet cream or something like that. Anyway, I hope y'all watched me this morning on the video I was doing this morning, and the reason I'm saying that is because I was right here. I was telling you about that because I want you to go ahead and get it so you'll have it for Christmas. It's under BrendaGanttBook.com. All right, let me show you this light right here. Look at the decorations. Oh, my word, have they ever changed. We got machines now that throw stars up on your house and all like that. Look at that. Look at those Santa Claus that are in there. Those light fixtures. I don't know why my internet's going out right now. All right, do y'all have that kind of luggage? I had some little Samsonite luggage, and all's what I had. And here are some of the decorations of the let's see, what did I say this one was? 1956. Look at that. Isn't that cute? These old books are so much fun to look at. They really are. And here are the lights. That's the kind, the colored lights that we used to put on our tree. Have y'all ever seen your mama, like she'd screw in a light bulb on the tree and it wouldn't do? It wouldn't come on, so she'd take it and lick it real good, the end of it, and then stick it in there and it'd turn on. Because it needed, I guess it needed that to get it going. Here's Sabrina tonight and Nicole. Hey, Myra, how are you, darling? Yes, you go to BrendaGanttBook.com and you can get you a book and give it to somebody for Christmas. It's a wonderful gift. What year is that book? This one is a 1956 book. And this one right here is a 1957. Now, let me see which one has the most colored pictures in it. Well, we looked at that page. Let's see what else we got in here. Here's some of the games that were popular back then. My brothers had a game that it was called football, and it was a flat surface like this. And when you put your little players out where you wanted it, and you turned it on, and that flat surface would vibrate like this. And so you were rooting for your players to go that way or this way, And then you kept score somehow. I don't know. I never did play that much with them, but I played with their train. And we always got a game, a board game or two. We'd get that. Here's some sleds. I guess that was for the northern children because we didn't have any snow down here. Oh, y'all remember these? Look at that. Look at that. Those cars. I know that my little boy, I gave him a tractor one Christmas. There's a green tractor. Look at that. Look at the fire truck. Honey, those things are so... This is the kind that the little toddlers sat in. They sat in them, and they had pedals. You call them pedal cars. Or pedal tractors. That one even has... Look at that one. It's even built in with something they can carry. I think the toys of old are good. But this year, here are your trains right here. This year, what they're getting, they want certain kind of CDs. They want stuff that we never, ever thought about getting. Like one of those cups that you put in your car with a top on it. Look at these. How many of y'all had that? See all the little stuff, little baby bed? Look at that. Is that not cute? You have a little tea party and you get your little tea set and kind of pour some little tea in there in your little cup and drink it, or a little coffee. It was so much fun. And here's the little girls. They could pick them out a dress that they wanted. Look at the little straps on them like that. Aren't these cute? I am so proud to get this book. I really am, and I've enjoyed it so much. And I always got a cowgirl suit or a cowboy suit. Here are your pajamas. Everybody always got some Christmas pajamas. Look at that. My mother made us pajamas every year. What about y'all? Did she make them for you? All right, let's see. Kimberly, what'd you get for Christmas, darling? When you were a kid, what was your favorite thing to get, y'all? What was your favorite thing to get? Of all the gifts that you ever got as a child, there was a gun that George got. It was a little toy gun that had he told me about it, had a little I guess you call them scabbard, or is that what you keep a knife in? Anyway, it went around you. And it was a cowboy gun, and I think it was a Gene Autry. He doesn't still have that, I don't think, but anyway, that gun was his favorite. I guess the thing that I got for Christmas that I enjoyed the most was my bicycle. We lived in a neighborhood that had a round circle in it, and we lived on a dead-end street. And I could take that bike and go round and round that big circle forever, I guess you'd say, without hands. And I practiced. But that bicycle was a very favorite one of something that I got. And another thing that I got, and I bet some of y'all got this, was a rabbit fur collar. I think it was in the 50s, because I was a little girl. I probably was in maybe 5th grade or something like that. That it was white, and it was a rabbit fur collar that you came around and had a little hook right here, and you could hook it, and you could wear it over all your sweaters or with a little blouse or something like that. And that was something I really liked it, that little rabbit fur collar. And I'd get a little necklace and stuff like that. I always got a little bit of jewelry. Santa Claus always brought me some jewelry. And cowgirl, my brothers would get a cowboy hat and Now these are something that I want to talk about right here. Do y'all remember getting a standout slip? Look at that. Look at that slip. When I was in 6th grade, we had standout slips and hoop skirts and hoop slips. So the goal every morning when you were getting ready for school was to see how fat or much you could get your skirt to stand out. I had a hoop skirt, And on top of the hoop skirt, I had a lot of what they call half slips. And they had ruffles all in them and crinoline and all that. And you put your hoop skirt on, and then you pull that thing down over your head and put on your half slip. And by the time I went to school, my dress was sticking out just like that. And then when you played jump rope outside at school, you would hold that, you'd grab your slips and then jump, because if you didn't, your slips were going to wind up on the ground because they were half slips. They were called, we call them standout slips. Did y'all have one of those? Times have changed so very much. It's hard for me to even comprehend. And I think about, sometimes I think about my granddaddy and my grandmama and how things have changed since they were little. Now, right here, you see, sorry about the internet, y'all. Just hang with me. It's going in and out. I want you to look what they've got on. All of them have on socks. All of them have on a cute little dress that you could put a standout slip under. Well, I didn't wear a pair of pants to school until I was probably the 11th grade. I wore dresses and skirts. Matter of fact, I had a dress that looked kind of like that. It was purple. It had that big... All right, so the next year... Look at this, how cute. We used to play cowboys and Indians. Look at that. Sometimes I'd be an Indian. Sometimes I'd be a cowgirl. I changed. I liked to be both of them. I thought it was fun. I remember George telling me one time that, there was 5 kids in his family, and he told me that they lived out here in the woods like we do on this property. And he said they were playing cowboys and Indians, and Joe, the oldest son, they all ganged up on him and caught him. I don't know if he was a cowboy or an Indian. They didn't say. But they actually tied him to a tree and went off and played for a couple of hours before they even came back and let him go. And the mama never knew nothing about it because, back then, the mothers, they'd just say, get outside and play. Get out there and play. And they did. So, anyway, poor old Joe. I think about it a lot now that he's gone. But this is probably... Some of the kids got a 2-holster gun, and some of them got a 1-holster. Now, that was back in the 40s, and they were just having a fine time playing. But anyway, let's look. What I want to look at now... Oh, and do y'all remember jewelry boxes? Look at this. I got a jewelry box one and it wouldn't do this. Can y'all see those jewelry boxes? And they usually had a little music on the inside of them. Look at this other one. All right, so here is the one that is the 1956. Right there's the front of it. Sears and Roebuck catalog, and on the back, you have this. I've had it in. Here was the next year. Sears Christmas book is what they called it, and it came in the mail. They just put one in everybody's mailbox. All right, look at this, what they've got on the back of this one. It's a little TV. Let's see when y'all were born. My mother made clothes. And, hey, my mother did too. She made us me a gown every Christmas and made my brother. This one right here, skim through it and see if we see a big difference in it. Well, I see a difference already. There are more colored pictures in the younger magazine. But now here's you a whole set down here of the Blue Willow. This is not adult. That's a toy. In other words, that's a little set that you could play Mama and Daddy with, and it had your little tea sets and little cooking stuff. I used to do that. Here's you some dolls. One of the dolls that I got for Christmas one time, it was called a walking doll. Here's the dolls. Y'all might have one of these. And you held her hand. She was about 1.5 feet high. and you held her hand and kind of pulled her and made sure that her feet were on the ground, and she'd kind of walk across the room. I had that. One of the saddest things that happened to me when I was little, and this is really sad, so I'm going to tell you, because to a child it was a lot. One Christmas when I was real little, it might have been my first doll. Her name was Violet. I named her Violet. And I probably was about maybe 5 or something like that. She had a hard head thing. Her head was kind of hard. Her arms were kind of rubber, and her body was cloth, stuffed cloth. And inside of her, she had a crier. That when you did her over like that, you laid her down, she'd go, wee! So you'd pick her up. It was some kind of box in there, you know. You lay her down again, wee! You'd pick her up. Well, I played with that little doll so much. Her hair was painted on, but I played with her so much that the paint on her head eventually wore off, and Mother got some varnish. Can y'all believe this? Mother got some varnish and painted her some hair on her head and did some little things and painted her eyebrows, and I've still got that doll. But here's the sad thing that happened. I can't wait to go back and just read what y'all are putting down. I can see it. It's just so good. I'm going to go back and read them. But anyway, here's the sad thing that happened. I was playing with another little girl, and she had her doll, and I had mine. We were playing dolls. And when it was time to go home or whatever happened, I forgot my doll. I guess we got to playing something else. I forgot my doll, and I left her right there where we were playing. And that afternoon, I missed her. And so I went back over to where we were playing to get my doll. And this mean little boy in our neighborhood, a little boy, got his knife and he cut my doll so he could get the crier out of her. He just cut the whole thing and took the crier. We never found it, but the little girl told me who did it. And I just cried and cried. I did. It was sad to me that she didn't have her crier anymore. So bless my sweet mama's heart. You know, the body part of it was cloth. And you could see where he had cut and grabbed that thing and pulled it out of her. So she stuffed that doll with some cotton or something in that spot where that crier was, because it was about that big around. It's a big old hard thing in there. And she sewed up that little doll's body. And that's all I remember. I don't remember crying or anything significant, but I remember my heart was broken, that her crier was gone. It is something how things happen to children that they never, ever, ever forget. What are some of your memories, like a happy memory or a sad memory? One of the happy memories I had was when toasters were invented. Or I don't know if it was invented, but they probably were invented before. But I lived in a neighborhood, and the lady down the street got a toaster. She had a toaster. And nobody else in the neighborhood had a toaster. It was a new thing on the block, you know, to have a toaster. So I remember going to her house outside. There was a bunch of kids. We were all playing. And we got hot and thirsty, and we were hungry. And she took a big old loaf of bread, white bread, loaf of bread, a big thing of butter, and a big thing of jelly. And she started pushing toast down. It was a tour. You know, it'd do 2 pieces at a time. She'd push it down, and we'd wait anxiously. And then they'd pop up, and she'd butter it real quick, and we'd put the jelly on, and we ate it. And she went down the road, and everybody ate it. And do you know, there wasn't hardly a piece of bread left in that big old long thing of white bread. because she stood there and pushed that bread down until we quit eating. That's my memory of a childhood. The doll memory and that toaster. And we used to, too, this is something we did. If y'all get tired of listening to me, just go on back or whatever. Do whatever you want to. I'm not worried about it. But anyway, another memory is that when ice cream freezers, everybody got an ice cream freezer. And it's the kind that you put your ice in and your salt in, and you put a towel over the top, and somebody sat on it so it would stay still. Somebody was the sitter, so you'd sit on that, on top of the ice cream freezer, and somebody else would turn the crank. And then the person that was turning the crank, if they got tired, then they sat on the freezer and the other person turned the crank. So everybody in the summertime took their ice cream freezer out to the edge of the driveway next to the street. And they made ice cream. Everybody did it at the same time on the whole hot summer afternoon late when the sun was fixed to go down. And you could go around to everybody's driveway and get some ice cream. So you had your little cup, and no, we didn't use styrofoam cups and all like that. You had a real cup and a real spoon, but everybody had to have their own. So you'd go around to each house, and maybe one house would have banana ice cream, one would have strawberry, one would have vanilla or chocolate. There were just so many kinds. And by the time you went to all the places, they'd give you one big nice scoop of their ice cream. And by the time you went around the neighborhood, you were so full of ice cream. Isn't that a good memory? Isn't that a good memory? We had a lady named Nat Lynch. I never will forget her. She was the sweetest lady. Always was good to the Nat. Just internet's. Y'all try to stay with me. I don't know. Y'all want to go with me in a different room where we can talk? I'm telling you. Let me get up. Oh. Goodness gracious, that's where I keep all my aprons. They're hanging up right there in this room. It's dark back this way. I'll have to turn on the light so we can see to get to the other end. Woo! Let's walk down the hallway. I was back there in that back room today. Let's get in here where we're close to the computer and all that stuff, and we'll be where we can finish talking. So is there anything y'all need to ask me tonight? Let me read and see. It's kind of dark back this way, but we'll do the best we can. I'll put you like that where we can see each other. There we go. There we go. Anyway, I just wanted to share those books with you is what I wanted to do, and share that my third cookbook, I want you to know about that, and it is ready to be ordered. If you want it before Christmas or you need some extra gifts, that'll be a good one. Remember to write them a letter or note in it, because that's important. So you go to BrendaGanttBook.com. And you're watching Cooking with Brenda Gantt right now on live. But anyway, let's see. Let's see if we can see some of y'all's memories. What are your Christmas plans? I'm going to stay right here at the house, and I am going to go to church. Most of the time on Christmas Eve night, we go to church, and we have what we call the candlelight service, and we sing Silent Night. We hear the Christmas story read, and then we stand in a big circle all the way around the sanctuary, and they light 2 candles at the front. And then my candle's lit, then I'll go to this person, light theirs, and they'll light the next one until the whole sanctuary is lit up by a candle. And that's when we sing Silent Night. And we talk about Jesus, and we honor his birth. And as the preacher said today and all at church, Jesus is 3 in 1. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. And it was a good sermon today. We had the little children today. They did their Christmas program. They were dressed as angels and shepherds and Mary and Joseph. So we're going to do that. Most of the time I eat supper over at Hannah's house on Christmas Eve. They cook breakfast. That's their tradition. They cook breakfast on Christmas Eve. They'll have pancakes and tomato gravy and fatback and grits. They do it all. Biscuits. A lot of times they'll tell me to make the biscuits, and we'll eat over there. And during the holidays, I'll see Dallas and Anna some too, and those children. And I wanted to make some gifts, but I hadn't had a chance to do that yet, y'all. Boy, Christmas came fast this year, didn't it? So let's see if you've got a question for me. I had a rabbit collar you had a rabbit collar? I loved mine. It was white. Do y'all remember those things? I used to have one. I don't know where it is now. When you put your sweater over your shoulders like that, but you didn't want it to fall off, they had this little chain that came about that far, and it had a clip on each end. You could clip this side to that side of the sweater and clip this one, and your sweater wouldn't fall off of your shoulders. You could just wear it like a little shawl. Do y'all remember those? I got one of those for Christmas one time. Anyway, let's see. Here's Janie saying hello from Florence, Alabama. Hey, Janie. That's up top of Alabama, isn't it? Chocolate pie at Thanksgiving. Moraine. First time. Oh, you made you a chocolate pie? I'm so glad. There's somebody saying they ordered my book. Well, that's good. Y'all say y'all like remembering with me. There's so many memories. Oh, my goodness. Please write your memories down for your children and your grandchildren. I wrote a lot of them in the cookbooks. That's one reason I wanted to do that cookbook, is to leave my children something after I'm gone. Just some stories or whatever I wanted to write. I did. Do you have a tea cake recipe? I do, but it's private. I don't give it out. I'm sorry. That's my only private recipe I have. And I'm sorry. I just don't give it out. You love the stocking. I did too. Let me tell you about my stocking when I was a little girl. Y'all aren't going to believe this. You aren't going to believe it. Some of you may have heard me tell about it. My mother would get her stockings, and this is not pantyhose. It was a stocking that you put on your leg when you wore high heels. It came up about top of your leg, and that was it. And you hooked a garter belt to it. Y'all remember garter belts that hooked to those things? I wore a garter belt when I was in high school because that's how you held your stockings up. We didn't have pantyhose. But anyway, she would take 4 of those stockings, and she would give each one of us a stocking, and we would lay it out for Santa Claus to fill it. And we didn't have gifts in our stocking. It would be things to eat. Like we always got a box of chocolate-covered cherries. We always got a bag of nuts and an orange and an apple and maybe some gum or little penny Annie candies and stuff like that. But have you ever taken a stocking, and she'd always put an orange or something down in the toe of it because it'd be heavy. I promise you, and this is the truth, that stocking must have been 5 feet long by the time she got everything stuck in there. And you could see everything that was in it because it was a stocking, a real stocking. And I love that. And for years, I did that for the grandchildren. I hadn't done it recently. It's hard to find a stocking like that anymore. But I've got some down at the antique shop, I think, that's old like that you just use a garter belt. Anyway, y'all, I don't know, unless you got a question, I don't know how much longer I can keep you on here. I don't want y'all to get bored with me. I love the fruits we got in our brown paper sack. Oh, you got a sack for Christmas. Well, that was good. That's real good. We always got candy and fruits and loved checking that stocking. to see what was in it. My favorite nut of all is Brazil nuts. I did find some at one of our local stores, and I've got a cracker in there. It's an old-timey nut cracker that you can slam it down like that, and you can get into that Brazil nut. They're hard to get into, but we always got them at Christmas time. We always did. My 10-year-old granddaughter made your pawpaw pie crust this weekend. Well, great. I'm so glad. Good for her. Here's Brenda Berry watching, and Sean Neal showing love from Oklahoma. Woo! What time is it in Oklahoma? It's probably still daylight out there. Here's Vicky writing in today, and Paulette Young, Loftus. Good evening, Paulette. And here's Joan is watching, and Ricky Daltrey. This is Betty Sue. Oh, I know what it is. Y'all are seeing people you know. Do you still have the antique store? No, I don't operate it anymore. When George got sick, I stopped that. I don't do it anymore. So anyway, peppermint candy. Yes, and there's a special peppermint candy. You know, you got your candy canes that are hard. My granny always had some that were kind of fat, about as big around as your thumb, and they were soft. They like melt in your mouth. It was a stick. It wasn't but about that long. And it's different from the hard peppermint candy. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but my granny always had that in her house on Christmas. I remember that. My mother always had the orange slice candy. That's the one she liked. I'm gonna move y'all up here where I can lean back. My back's beginning to bother me. She had those orange slices, and she had a crystal candy dish that she would put them in the living room, and it had a top on it. So you just pick the top up, get your orange slice candy, and eat it. And that was her favorite candy at Christmas. She was going to have that. I'll tell you another memory about Christmas. My daddy worked a lot, so he didn't have a lot of time to go Christmas shopping or anything like that. But on Christmas Eve, every Christmas Eve after supper, he said, well, I'm fixing to go down to the drugstore. Because that was about all the thing that was open was a drugstore on Christmas Eve night. And they usually stay open a little bit. And he would go down there and buy everybody a present from the drugstore. I remember one time I had made Hannah a homemade doll. It was real cute. But when Daddy saw it, he said, oh, that baby's not going to want a homemade doll. She wants a real doll baby. Doll baby's what he called. So he gets in his car, goes to the drugstore, and the only thing that was there in the doll category was a red-headed doll with a cute little dress on, and he bought that little red-headed doll for my daughter, Hannah. He did. Hannah got a oven one time from Santa Claus. George was trying to put it together and put the door on upside down, so instead of opening regular, you had to do it like this and look in like that because it wouldn't, he put it on backwards. I don't know how in the world he did it, but he did. Then one Christmas, Dallas got a go-kart, and Santa Claus brought him a two-seater so that Hannah could ride in there with him. And so Santa Claus always put their toys out, like Dallas's would be kind of round on this chair and Hannah's would be over there on that chair. They were separated so they'd know which was which. Well, that Christmas morning, I'll never forget it. Hannah had all kinds of little stuff on her little area, you know, little dolls and dishes and a little outfit and all this little stuff like that. And Dallas looked over to his little pile of stuff that Santa Claus had brought him, and he had some gloves and a hat and maybe one other little thing, and that was all he had. Hannah had all that, and Dallas didn't have but 3 things on his. But knowing the good-natured, wonderful guy he is, even as a little boy, he was like this. He said, "Oh, look what I got." And I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I said, "Darling, look out the window." And he looked out the window, and there in the front yard was a go-kart. He was so excited, and my heart just melted when he saw what he got, but he didn't let on that he didn't have much. He didn't let on. I wanted to just squall right there. But then when he saw that go-kart, he ran out there to get on that thing, and Hannah left her toys behind and went and got on there with him. And there was a trail going from the back of our house. We lived right here, going over to his grandmother's house. George's mother lived, and Daddy lived over through the woods. And they got on that little go-kart, the 2 of them, and here they went through the woods just as fast as they could go. And they played on that thing. It was cold that day, but they rode on it all day long. And so that was a good Christmas, a good memory of how a little sad boy looked out the window and saw something he wanted, and how Hannah had a upside-down oven. And so we used to have a friend when the kids were little, John and Mary Ann Mansfield. They were our neighbors when the kids were little. We didn't live here then. We lived in Linden, Alabama, until Hannah was about 6 months old. Then we moved here. But anyway, we weren't good at putting together anything. So we called John over there, and he put the baby bed together for us. He did that. And one time Dallas flushed an apple down the toilet, and John had to come over there and help George to take the toilet up so we could get the apple out. I've got some tales, I am telling you. It's hard raising children. It's hard because they're into everything. So you parents out there that your kids into everything, just hang in there, darling. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. You surely will. All right, let's see if there's any more questions. I remember when Christmas used to be cold in Georgia. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Laura said you got blessed memories. All right, here's somebody from Montana watching. Goodness gracious. I'm so glad. I want to know, when I post every day, I post almost every day, are y'all watching me? Can you find me? Because I don't have, like right now, there's a bunch of people watching on here, but when I post, I look at how many is commenting or how many liked it or whatever. And remember, if you find the real me on Facebook, it will have 3,800,000 followers, 800,000 followers. 3,800,000 followers. If it doesn't have that many, then you're watching a fake show, a fake. I also have a YouTube station, and I also have the same title, Cooker Brenda Gantt, and I also have a Instagram, Cooker with Brenda Gantt. So I got stuff out there, but I don't know. I think y'all can't find it or something. 2 sets of twins, a boy in the middle. It was something raising them. I bet it was hard having 2 sets of twins. Oh, my word. And here's Stephanie. She says, yes, I watch you every day. Well, thank you, Stephanie. I know that some of you are having trouble, though. Are you going to have a cookbook signing in December? Yes, I am. I hadn't decided on the date. I've been looking at the calendar. I'm going to have a cookbook signing and a cookbook selling of the last cookbook. That's all I've got to sell. I'm going to have both of them. As George would say, both of them. I'm going to have both of them. Oh, gosh. Y'all are a mess. Let's see. Ruthie says she watches me every day while she's having her morning coffee and her breakfast. I didn't have a good breakfast today. I had a banana and some nuts. That's not, I wanted something different, but I didn't, I guess I was busy because today was Sunday and I was trying to do other things. But I had 2 cups of coffee, a banana, and some nuts. That's all I had. Well, y'all, I'm going to scoot on out now. How was your Christmas party? Oh, it was great. We had a lot of good food. We had it catered, and that was nice. Everything tastes real good. Everybody looked good. We played Dirty Santa, and I got what I picked out, or I drew, and I was number 39. There were 53 people at our party. That's a lot. And we had it at the Antioch Fire Department, or Community Center, Antioch Community Center, beside the fire department. But it was real good. Had a good time. Then we played a game, the men against the women, and it was Bible trivia. That was fun. I knew a lot of the answers, and a lot of them I didn't know. So, you don't ever know, you can't ever know everything that's in the Bible. That's for sure. You cannot. I don't even think it's meant for us to understand everything in the Bible. But we will by and by. We will by and by understand everything and why it's in there. Let's see. Are there any unique shops in town I would love to visit? Oh, yes. We've got a bunch of boutiques that sell gifts and stuff. And we've got about 5 antique shops in town. One of the antique shops that a lot of people go to, and I like to go there too, there's a lot of good ones, it's an old nursing home. So every room in the nursing home and every closet and every wall is rented by a different vendor. So when you go in there, you're going to see stuff from all over, because every vendor has different things in there. There's this one man that he does a lot of tools, antique tools with the wooden on them. I love those. They're beautiful to me. I love tools. Let's see. Here's Sherry from Oklahoma. Hey, Sherry. I love y'all too. Somebody say they love me. I love y'all too. You're a blessing to me. You're a blessing to me. I enjoy talking to you tonight. I wish I could hear what you're saying, but I can just see what you're writing. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what you're writing on there. All right, let's something about the ingredients. Even went out and found, they're trying to make the orange slice cake. That's what they're trying to do. I had a bowl of oyster stew for breakfast. Oh, my word. That sounds good. I got a story on that. On oyster stew. George's mother and daddy, they had the 5 kids. So she would make oyster stew because that made the oysters go further. She couldn't just fry them and let all those 4 strapping boys and 1 girl eat all the oysters they wanted. So she would make a stew out of it, out of milk and butter and cream and that kind of thing, a little seasoning. And she'd pour that whole pint of oysters in there with the juice. And when it got time to eat, she would have everybody's bowls. Well, that would be 7 bowls out there for her and Pawpaw, and then the 5 children. 7 bowls of oyster stew. And she'd put some juice in everybody's bowl. Then she would go back and put 2 oysters in everybody's bowl. And if it ran out short, then she would put just 1 in hers. And that's how you had to do it. That's how you had to do it. Now, my mother, we never had enough oysters, ever. I loved fried oysters, and I still love them today. But we didn't have them. But I don't know if it's because we couldn't afford them or what. I've told y'all this before, but one day, my mama said, I'm going to feed my babies oysters until they can't eat another one. In other words, she felt bad because we never had a lot of them. We just had a taste, I guess you'd say. So bless her heart, she stood at that stove. That's when we're living at Country Club Gables over on the west side of Tuscaloosa. And she fried oysters and fried oysters. She just stood there and fried them and give us some more. 4 of us, 3 boys and a girl. And we ate oysters and ate oysters and ate oysters. Until we couldn't eat another one. And I remember that so well. Another one of my memories is at Christmas time. Mother always she'd get some of that spray snow. You know, you'd shake it up. Is it a can? She'd get that spray snow, and she had a big mirror with gold frame around it over our fireplace. And she would take that snow and cursive writing. She'd write, "Merry Christmas," across that mirror. I remember that. And I think I've got a picture of that somewhere. Oh, it's amazing, though, what you remember. Well, I'm going to let y'all go because it's 6:37. You need to get ready for bed. Go brush your teeth, and wash your face, and cream it up. Put you on some good warm pajamas. Turn your heat down low so you can get in there and cuddle with whoever you sleep with. I'm going to cuddle with my blanket. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, goodness. I've got a soft blanket that somebody sent me, and I'm going to cuddle up with that. I want to see... Oh, you went to see the Nutcracker tonight. Oh, that was good. That's the kind of Christmas tradition, isn't it? All right. Somebody's talking to somebody else, telling them where they live. Do you have a favorite store in Andalusia, I guess they're staying? Yeah, I like, I guess my favorite store, I got some boutiques I like to go into and see if I can find something on sale. I usually wait till they put it on the sale rack. And then I've got some antique stores. I don't really have a favorite one, though. I really don't. Sarah said my favorite gift was a baby doll. She said she's 79. I loved baby dolls. I never did get Hannah like a Barbie doll or some kind of modern something. I always got her a baby doll. I wanted her to have a baby doll that she could love and rock and give it this little bottle. I always bought those little bottles that looked like it had milk in it. And you had one that had orange juice and one that had milk. And I'd always get that for her. Yvette is saying she loves oysters, but has never tried oyster stew. Well, oyster stew is good. It really is. You're supposed to pour that juice from the oyster in that milk too, but you got to cook it slow because that milk will scorch. I'm gonna warn you about that. You can't, I made your turnip green soup tonight. I love turnip green soup. If y'all hadn't tried that, what book did I put that in? The first or the second? I think I put it in the second, didn't I? I can't remember where I put it. Well, anyway, you're going to love it. It sounds terrible, but it is not terrible. It's actually really super, super good. And you'll love it. Shelby Vincent saying that they got the skates. I got skates for Christmas lots of times, but mine weren't boot skates. They were just skates, and you put your shoe down in it like that, and it had a thing on the side. You had a skate key, and you take that skate key and tighten up that little thing over your shoe like that, so the skate wouldn't fall off. I still have my skates, or if they're not mine, they must be Dallas and Hannah's, probably Dallas and Hannah's, and a skate key, too, a skate key. Y'all know what a skate key looks like? Some of y'all don't. You're too young. All right, anyway, so I'm going to let y'all go. I hate to, but I got to. I'm getting sleepy. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'll be in the bed by 7:30. Oh, y'all, Melissa said they have oyster stew on New Year's. I only ate them once. And Susan says she loves oyster stew, and Carol Thomas, and Francie Farrell, Darlene Hilton, Nita, is that Anita? Yeah, Brewer. When I go to bed tonight, I'm going to take this thing with me. I'm going to read all that. What's that Santa game? I don't know of a Santa game. Candyland game. Yeah, I had the Candyland. My kids loved that. I didn't have it. It was invented after I was grown. Candyland. I've been cooking supper and listening to your stories. Y'all eating mighty late. I had a friend to come this afternoon and sit with me. Francis Castleberry from here in town. And we had coffee together. And I had cut up a pineapple today. I had it in a plate. I told her to get her some pineapple, and I had leftover biscuits from lunch. So I wrapped those biscuits up for her to take home with her. And she said, "Oh, thank you. I'm going to make me a sugar biscuit." I said, "A sugar biscuit?" And she said, "Yes. You split it open, the biscuit, put butter on it, and then put sugar all over it and toast it in the oven." And she was going to make her a sugar biscuit. That sounds good, doesn't it? I didn't make me a sugar biscuit. I hadn't had any supper yet. I don't think I'm going to eat. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting sleepy, y'all. I get sleepy about this time. Y'all are a mess. You are. I'm reading these things. Y'all are so excited. Y'all act like you're 2 years old and Santa Claus fixed to come see you. You've been too bad this year. He ain't going to come see you. He's watching right now, and he says, "Hey, you've been a bad girl." But whatever you do with all your Christmas things this year, and you may not have ever done this before, but don't be embarrassed to drag out the Bible and to read the Christmas story to your children. I think some of us are, I don't know if you're embarrassed or what, or you don't want to do something like that in front of your kids, but they would appreciate it. They would. Just gather around. If you got a little fireplace, bake some hot chocolate or some Russian tea or something, and marshmallows, and have you a little time together and read the Christmas story. Maybe talk about it. Maybe read one verse and talk about it. See if they can remember what was in the verse. Make it fun and make it serious, because that's why we even have Christmas, is because Jesus came into the world. He came from heaven and was tempted just like a real man here on earth. But he was God. He was the Godhead. So don't leave him out of Christmas, because he's the reason we even have Christmas. And you need to realize that for sure. I'm going to go. I hope y'all have a good night. I hope you rest good. I hope the sheets feel good to your toes tonight, even if you're sleeping in socks. Y'all see that red going by? That's cars. I'm sitting with my back to the road out there. Did your mother say a prayer with you when you were little? Do you memorized? I did. My mother said one with me. It was, "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray thee, Lord, my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray thee, Lord, my soul to take." She taught me that when I was so young. And I remember it so well that even today I think about it. When you go to bed at night, will you ever wake up in the morning? Have you already given your heart to Jesus? Have you already told him that you loved him and that you thank him for saving you? I hope so. Good night, people. I love y'all. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.